Hey, welcome back. I'm just putting in the rails that will support the sleeping platform. The sleeping platform will be completely structural. It takes a while to do, but it's so worth doing because it adds so much strength to the whole structure. I want to show you the details of how I'm going to scratch build a door for the side of this thing. Tiny campers, teardrops, pretty much unheard of in New Zealand. There's not many people involved in it, and there simply is no market for short-sized hobbit doors. So building it from scratch, I'm excited to be able to use this new board that I've discovered. They call it foam board. The foam inside it is very, very dense, and it's skinned with a hard shell semi-gloss plastic, and it's durable, it's sandable, it's drillable, it takes screws well. You can glue it with various types of glue. I'm really happy with it. The only thing is, it doesn't have quite as much stiffness as a sheet of ply of the same thickness. So I'm opting to make a lightweight steel frame to go inside, and I'm using second-hand Ute windows. I bought a canopy for $100. In that canopy there was a front window and two side windows, tinted with sliding opening panels. It hasn't got them fitted, but it has got the channel to take a fly screen, so I'll be fitting a fly screen to this half. But having these means that I'm going to build a door for about $45 or $50, including the hinge and the catch, because the catch, I managed to score a catch from a truck wreckers yard from a damaged locker from underneath the deck of a truck. The catch is almost brand new. It's no sign of wear or anything like that. Being stainless, it's going to stay looking good forever. So I have all my hinge, my hatch, my window, the panel. I just have to make the frame, but I'm going to cut the door out now and start fitting the window, and when I buy more of this I'll be able to make the frame, bond it on, and then we can look at fitting it. So you'll see that I've drawn out the door. We've got 3 lines, and those 3 lines represent the inside of the door frame on the cabin. This is the outside edge of the rubber seal that's going to fit all the way around here, and this will be the edge of the door that I cut to. I'm going to draw around the window next. I'll position the window where I want it to sit in the door, draw around the outside, then I have to transfer that in 12 millimeters because this is the line that I'll be cutting to. When I'm doing a job like this, I always start in the awkwardest position that I can find. And as I go around and do each side, I try to plan it so that it gradually gets easier and easier, so that as I get tired, there's less chance of me making a mistake.
I'm going to be sanding right round the edges of this door to give it a nice radiused edge. So what I'm doing here is just putting a datum line. It's not a particular measurement, it's just a nice parallel line for me to sand to. I've got a router, but I don't have a very good selection of bits, so I'm going to sand this the old-fashioned way, 60 grit on the belt sander to rough it down, and then I'll finish it with 240. This stuff sands rather well actually. It screws, it glues, it paints, it sands, just like plywood. I like it.
It's nearly the end of the day, and the end of the day is a good time for gluing things up. So I was going to paint the door first, but I'm painting the door with an aerosol water-based version of the Raptor deck liner. It's made by Duplicolor and it's called Bed Armor. It's nowhere near as durable as Raptor because Raptor is a 2-pack product. This is a single pack water-based product, very low VOCs. You can spray it inside without a mask. There's nothing too dangerous about it unless you're ridiculous with it. It's very slow drying. I'm going to bring in a wee fan heater and put it over here to harden off, because you can't just lay the stuff on, otherwise it falls flat and it just comes out like normal paint. What you have to do is warm up the surface and then speckle, what they call in the trade a guide coat. You speckle a guide coat over it and then hit it with a heat gun. Warm it up, dry it off, and that will lay down your foundation texture. I've been experimenting with this on the aluminium extrusions that go around the bodywork of the camper, and I've found just the way to do it. But I'm a little bit reticent to try to use the Bostik polyurethane construction adhesive onto a water-based rubberized coating. So I'm going to put the window in first, then I'm going to mask it up in the morning, and I'm going to paint the Duplicolor Bed Armor paint over the door with the window in place, and then unmask it. We'll have a finished product. All I need to do then is attach the inside frame, which I'll be making also tomorrow, because I don't have enough of the right size steel here. I'll nip over to my mate's, borrow half a length and make the frame. Then we can put the door on.
I'm not trying to build some luxury top-end high-spec camper here. I want to keep the price down. I want to make it practical, functional, capable. I don't want it to leak, basically. I want it to be warm. It needs to be utilitarian, no frills so that I'm not breaking things. But one of the most important things is waterproofness. You only get one chance to do something properly, so I use the right selection of urethane adhesives and silicons and caulking compounds. I'm very particular in the materials that I use. The suspension and the brakes and the off-road high articulation coupling, they've all been chosen specifically. Trail Quip have been marvellous, most helpful. I ring those guys sometimes a couple of times a week, and they're always able to help.
That's it. So I'll put some heavy things on this, leave it till tomorrow, and then we're into it.
Hi Larry. No, come in, I'm filming. Come and have a look.
Hey? No.
Thought I heard you talking to yourself.
Yeah, I was. But now I'm not.
Ooh, are you going to be waiting for this to set?
Well, I'm doing it again. It's 10 or 11 PM, everybody's in bed, and I can't help myself, so I've had the heater on for a little while just to warm up the surface of this door. I've now turned it over, the windows bonded in and masked up, and I'm going to paint. And I did mention earlier, I think, the reason I'm putting the window in first and then painting was because I don't trust the sealant to go down and stick to the stuff here. So the first thing I do is warm this. I've had this in hot water, so it's a nice pleasant hot water bottle temperature, and I've warmed up the surface of what I'm going to paint. And the key is to speckle a guide coat over the whole thing and then wait for that to dry, and that starts the build of the mottled finish. So we'll spray from a fair distance away to get a wide coverage. It's not like paint, it's like mud in a can. See these big blobs that are starting to come? That's all part of how it's meant to be. Something I've learnt from earlier experience is you must press the knob firmly. No pussying around, otherwise it just starts to dribble out and run down the side of the can. I think I'm going to have to climb on the table to finish this job. And that's it. The trick is now to give it a good warm up. Now see how this is dried to a matte finish, but here we've got areas that are still quite shiny and spots that are downright wet. Well, you can't build over that until it's back to this matte finish again, otherwise they will just flatten out and you'll lose the effect. So I'm working my way around with the heater. Still quite glossy over here, but over here you can see where I started in that corner and worked my way around. I'm halfway drying it. It's going to take me an hour or three, but by the morning I'll end up with what I hope will be a lovely dark mottled door. Dragon skin doors. Not every tiny trailer's got those.
You've just watched part 1 of a 2-part DIY build your own teardrop or expedition vehicle door from scratch. It's part of a series. The playlist is available on my channel. There's 2 or 3 suggested videos coming up in just a moment. I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. And while you're there, why not subscribe? Ring the bell to get all the details.